to Weston Human Resources Committee. Pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Wyland. Here. Hardinger.
Here.
Akbar is excused. Dirk Slooby. Here. Meg. Here. Lionel.
Here.
Art.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of Human Resources Committee meeting, 2 October 2023. Moved by Haig.
I'll second that.
Second by Manel. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda, acknowledgement of resignation of committee member Art.
I just had a brief memo in the packet that stated that Jay Arndt has resigned from the committee. We just thank him for his service, and we did advertise an opening on the committee along with finance, and we had one on CDA and tourism also, so. But just an acknowledgement that Jay is no longer with the committee.
New business. Jim, did you have a public comment?
I do not.
Okay, we don't have on here for that. Do we have anything for public comment?
it's on
I'm sorry.
It's also with number 5, but we didn't have any sheets turned in either.
Oh, okay. Nothing else underneath it. New business. Action possible, action on recommendation to the village board on amendments to public works descriptions. Director of Public Works, Fleet Foreman, and Mechanic. This is you, Jamie?
So this is my first HR meeting. Do you guys prefer to have a motion on the floor before discussion, or do you mind, or do we want to have discussion before motion?
Usually we have some background that's given to,
Okay, so discussion before motion, okay. So there are 3 position descriptions in the packet. They note the track changes. They're not significant track changes, and they are the current practices for those positions. We just wanted to make sure that we got them updated so they reflected the duties of those 3. So the Director of Public Works, the Fleet Foreman, and the Mechanic.
doesn't reflect any change in the pay scale.
No. All of that would be handled in our closed session item. If there was changes to those, these would just be changes to reflect accurately job duties. And some grammatical things that we caught. Michael's here too, if you had any questions about, because both the Fleet Foreman and Mechanic would be in Public Works.
Michael?
Yeah, the main thing for those 2 positions is they all reference equipment operating, and I think even equipment operating was the big one, and then the overseeing of staff. They don't, I guess they generally don't operate the equipment during the day. They're here to fix our equipment, keep it up and running. Whereas in the past, we have had kind of people that had dual roles in some of those positions. So now we are truly more of a maintenance mechanic staff, not a public works guy who then also will come in and change oil every now and then. They do plow snow, they do still do some of those things, but they don't direct and schedule, I guess, the public works staff. So the fleet foreman here, it did say schedules and coordinates snow and ice removal. That's not part of their job. But as we go through the annual review, we always ask the staff, is your job description up to date? And these are items that those 2 individuals noted as not things that they were currently doing, nor were they things that they thought should be part of their job. And I guess I agree with those, so.
Anything else, Jamie?
I recommend approval of the amended job descriptions for the village board for the positions of Director of Public Works, Fleet Foreman, and
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7, discussion and or possible action on recommendations to the village board on proposed job description and funding for new staff engineer position in Public Works Department.
So Michael put together a request for consideration within the packet that kind of outlined the potential position along with a position description. I might just have Michael address even more specifically about the duties and the reasoning why.
Sure. So I guess as we look at our capital improvement plan and some of the workload that we have currently and projecting into the future, we have about 20 capital projects in some phase of, I guess, the planning through construction, design, post-construction closeout. We have 8 different consulting firms currently under contract for those projects. We have 5 different joint projects, whether it's with Rothschild Schofield, the town of Weston, or the Marathon County Highway Department. And also, we have different grants that we have to follow through the DOT and the DNR. And that's a lot for one person to oversee, which I currently do more or less by myself right now. So the staff engineer would help with that, and also would be somebody who'd be capable of perhaps, or ideally of doing some of that design work or construction oversight, so we wouldn't have to be hiring the other firms. Right now we've got, let's see here, I put a table together. There's a little bit here, but and our East Jelnik project right now, we've got an engineering contract of $310,000. Currently for that, it's $125 for design and $185 for construction services. Jelnik Avenue, $61,700 for design, $109 for construction services. Fuller Street, similar total price of that one is about $328 for engineering services. So as we talk about funding, this would be where one person maybe couldn't do the entire project, but they'd probably be able to do at least 2/3 of that project, thus saving the village money on these future projects. The existing ones we have under contract already, but moving forward, we would have less expense on engineering fees.
Instead of outsourcing it, we'll bring it in-house.
Yeah, correct. And then we do have about $110,000 every year in the utility budgets, whether that's for usually the sewer utility. We have a lining project, whether it's for the manholes or a stretch of sanitary sewer. Water utility, we usually try to update our water model or have some kind of valve repair, hydrant replacement project. So we do budget monies there every year. Again, that's $110,000 in the utility budgets, which we could hire somebody in-house and they would just do that work and it become a salary instead of a consulting fee.
Is there any software requirements or any liability insurance requirements that are going to be necessary?
We already have all of the software. We do have a CAD license. We have WaterCAD model software. So we have the computer software. We already purchased it. We have it. As far as insurance, I would check. I guess have to double check, but I believe, I already stamp. I do some.
You use your stamp?
I do use my stamp. I do design some of the smaller mill and repave projects that we've done. So I guess I believe we're covered. I can double check that though.
Well, the question comes up, is that something that the village needs to be covered and the engineer as an individual needs to be compensated for having his individual cover? I don't know what the requirements
Yeah,
are.
the company would cover you. So.
Right, but I know that, I believe Keith stopped using or stopped stamping 10 years ago or whenever it was. I think he stopped participating in it and I just.
Yeah, and that's when Dan Koski kind of left the village. And that was the last person we had full-time doing design work here. So I think it maybe just coincided with not having somebody on staff who did projects at full-time anymore.
Jessica, how's it fit in our budget?
What?
How does it fit, sorry, how does it fit in our budget?
Is planning on funding it through projects. So however we fund the current contractor prices, bills.
It would be savings essentially from moving from that contractor back in-house.
Out of capital improvements?
Some of it would have to come out of capital, but some of it also out of utility.
Yeah, I mean, a current engineer that we hire bills out at about $135 an hour. So I guess our proposed rate is less than 135, so.
Thank you, Robin.
I think it makes sense. Me too, yeah. I would move to recommend the village board approve the job description and creation of the staff engineer position. I would second.
Motion by Robin, second. Any further discussion?
I just want one quick question. I know that it's been in the news about, I guess they're looking at consolidating with the judgeship. I think you were having discussions about the police department. Is there any discussions occurring about their utilities and with our utilities or anything? I mean, because that used to be a good portion of their utilities, used to be in the village of Weston before the incorporation. I was just curious if there's any other discussions and if there's people over there.
I mean, Rothschild is
Right.
not outside of what our current agreements are. I mean, we do provide some water service.
Yeah, Weston Utilities serves about at least probably I'd say a third of the village of
Right.
Rothschild.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I was just curious if there was any other discussions that would pause this for a few months.
I mean, Tim is their Director of Public Works.
Right.
I mean, he's a one-man show. There's no other person over there that I guess doesn't.
He has a PE license and,
He does, yeah.
yeah, right, yeah.
But no discussions as far as with the unified police department that involved utilities, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a question.
Thanks, Steve. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Favor say aye. Opposed? Carries. Next, number 8, changes to human resource policy, removal of employee resources manager practices.
I had just noted in the background memo that there are several indications of the employee resource manager within our handbook, and that's not a position that exists anymore. We do have the accounts payable, payroll, and human resources specialist, and some of the items that are in the handbook would transition to that, but several of them will transition to the administrator. We don't have intentions at this point of refilling that position. I think in the past it was somewhat combined with the clerk position, but I'm not uncomfortable taking on several of those roles that are in there. So it'll take a little while to get through all 10 chapters, but you'll be seeing that come back, that we'll transition that out of the handbook.
So as far as the HR role, you're gonna take that on? This is just an update to the employee handbook.
Yep. And just notice that the committee will see that sections of that handbook back with those references removed.
All right, this is an update. I'm not actually recording that. Next, other current development changes in human resources matters.
It's just a placeholder if there was anything that any of the committee members wanted to be brought up or looked at, but just a placeholder.
Steve, Mickey, Robin? And then, all right, number 10, acknowledge recent staff resignation, Trevor Skirvin, utility senior operator.
So Trevor went to the Rib Mountain Metropolitan Sewage District. Yeah. Ooh, good, got it. So his last day with us was in February, but we did have I can share that, yes.
Yeah.
We did have an internal candidate within Public Works, David Truba, that will be moving from Public Works from streets into that role. He'd like to learn more about the utility and has an interest in that, and so he was extended an offer and will be making that transition. We've had that within other departments too, so nice to reward someone that wants to stay and grow with us. We tried to take a tour of the sewage district and grab Trevor and bring him back, but he didn't get in the car.
You didn't get in the car.
Someday.
Are we down one already in utility?
We were in, I guess, as of today-ish, tomorrow, we'll be back to, I guess, full or 5 utility operators or 5 utility staff. And then we'll be short 1 on streets, so.
Are they advertising that position now or?
I will. I kind of want to make sure David did say yes and accepted before we advertise his job, and all of a sudden he's like, wait, no, I'm not moving.
Oh, he hasn't given you, okay. Number 11, acknowledgement, completion of 2023 evaluations for all staff.
I just wanted to note for the committee that 2023 evaluations have been completed for all full-time staff and are on file.
And it's February.
Yay.
February. Sorry. All right, number 12, I'll make a motion to move to closed session to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise the responsibility to wit, recommended 2024 market adjustment compensation changes for competitiveness and recommend merit adjustment compensation changes for performance. We have 2 sections here. And then continue in closed session, reclassification review procedure for public works maintainer to public works operator.
Need a second for that?
Second by Haig. Any further discussion? Clerk, we need a roll call.
Wyland? Here. Hardinger?
Yes.
Hepburn? Is excused. Slivy?
Aye.
Haig? Here. And Manel?
Yes.
We're in a closed session. Nate?
You need to pause the recording.
Move to approve the 2024 market and merit adjustments to the village board as noted on the attached chart for all staff who have a satisfactory performance evaluation on file with the administrator starting January 8th, 2024.
And
Oh, I'm sorry, I combined them. I said merit and market together, but okay.
Cool.
Oh.
Including the
And
back
I
pay.
move to approve the 2024 merit adjustments to the village board as noted on the attached chart for all staff who have satisfactory performance evaluation on file with the administrator starting January 8th, 2024.
Including the back pay.
We'll
in the
do
amount of-
that one.
That's a separate one.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
So who seconded
Who
that?
seconded
motion?
that?
Thank you.
Next is a motion to approve the reclassification for Mr. Hopner from Public Works Maintainer grade G to Public Works Operator grade H to include $236.65. Second by Wyland. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Right. Possible action on remarks from committee members.
I just hope that you can go easy on yourself a little bit and take the time you need.
Thanks, Steve. Remarks from chair. Next meeting date.
We don't have a
Jamie?
future one set for right now. We'll be in touch. I don't, we only have one item that I think could wait, so we might wait till we have a bigger grouping.
If we could have meetings only as needed, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. I don't think we need to have a meeting, just have a meeting.
Right, we had a lot we were trying to push through last year.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of meetings because of it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate, you know, the attendance you guys and the attention thing. Next meeting date will be determined. Anything else? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Egg, second by Dirks. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, we are adjourned.